It's time to once again take 6 minutes to center our lives on God as we share a brief devotional thought. A few weeks ago, I had the roof on my house replaced as a result of some hail damage. That crew came in at about 7 o'clock in the morning. By 7:30, they had the old roof completely removed. By 2 o'clock that afternoon, they were loading up and heading toward the house. That crew was definitely tuned in on what needed to be done to replace this roof. However, as I went around to the back of the house, I saw that I was left with this minor issue. I guess their expertise was one-dimensional because as they had replaced the roof, they actually had taken my satellite dish off, and my satellite dish was left hanging by the cable that ran into the house. And so by nature being a cheapskate, I decided to attempt that reinstall myself. However, how hard could it be? I mean, the angle was already set. And so Grady and I got up there on the roof and we started making some adjustments. As a result, we got a very limited number of stations to come in, but we mostly watched Netflix for a few days. So one morning I watched some how-to videos on YouTube and journeyed back onto the roof to try to get this satellite dish tuned in. This time it was without Grady because he was out of town. So after several trips up and down that ladder with signals going from 0 to 76%, I finally made that minute adjustment and got the signal set to a 96%, which was a full 1% more than the professional on YouTube. So I decided I'm going to lock this down and call it a day. I tightened down the bolts, I put the lag bolts in, I tightened up all of the places and crawled back down off the ladder to go inside to find my youngest daughter watching Netflix. The spiritual application here, though, is that I was shocked by how little it took moving that dish to either knock everything out back down to 0 or get that strong signal. It was literally a matter of centimeters. You know, the same is true in our spiritual lives. It takes minor changes to get us out of the habit of reading, studying our Bibles, or even derail our prayer lives. Paul writes this to the letter to the Corinthian church, really addressing this issue. 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verses 24 through 27. Do you not know that in a race all the runners run, but only one receives the prize? So run that you may obtain it. Every athlete exercises self-control in all things. They do it to receive a perishable wreath, but we an imperishable. So I do not run aimlessly. I do not box as one just beating the air, but I discipline my body and keep it under control, lest after preaching to others, I myself should be disqualified. This verse is a reminder that we are in a race, and it is a fight against Satan. He is going to do everything that he can to keep us from tuning in to God. Let's face it, Satan has done a great job knocking us off course in using this virus. He has changed our habits. He has changed even the way that we worship. And if he can get us so unfocused in our spiritual life, he can use that to create habits that is detrimental to our race. Of course, the reminder here is that the prize, it is a prize that is worth all of the struggle. We are running for an imperishable prize. We are running not for short-term pleasure that quickly fades. We are seeking an eternity in heaven. And that is a prize worth all of the struggle. The awesome truth of this satellite application is that while it just takes those minor movements to get us to lose signal, it also takes minor movements to tune in, doesn't it? It might be that we can use a set time where we can wake up just a few minutes early to read God's Word before we start our day to get us started off right. It may take a renewed dedication in our prayer life, a set time that we're going to pray. It may take something as simple as what I've been trying to do lately each morning by saying this quick little prayer: God, help me walk in your ways today. Then, when I am tempted to sin throughout the day, I can repeat that prayer until God is once again in control of my life. The fact is, God's signal is always there. Sometimes we just need to make those minor adjustments to tune in. I encourage you to seek ways to tune in to God this week. Thank you for taking 6 minutes to center with me today.